Alright guys, welcome back to another true story animation reaction video. Today we are watching I Had No Idea I Was This Pretty Until My First Day at School by My Story Animated. I will leave the link in the description down below, but come on, love yourself. Everyone is beautiful in their own way. Like, come on. You can't say you had no idea you were this pretty. Everyone is pretty, guys. Everyone is beautiful. I'm gonna leave a like on this. Guys, if you want to see more true story animation reaction videos, leave a like on this video right now. But let's get started. I'm very excited. This is actually a pretty long one. 22 minutes long. Oh my goodness. Go grab your popcorn and your snacks right now. I got these right here. I got Dorito. I got gummy. Oh, I got gummy bears. Okay. I'm sorry if I'm super loud, but let's watch.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, and today for My Story Animated, I'm going to tell you how I inherited my kidnapper's fortune. Yeah, that's right. Weird, huh? But for that, I have to tell you a few things first, so stick around and subscribe to this channel. So, I was born in a small town, but the quiet life didn't last long. My father was a diplomat, so I spent most of my life traveling around the world. Moving from place to place every couple of months is not as awesome as it may sound. I had no place to call home, no friends, and no close family other than my parents. Since we moved around so much, I never spent more than 2 months in a school. My parents decided it was best that I did homeschooling. Great. That was a dead end in my social life chances. When I turned 15, my dad passed away.
What?
Things could not get any worse. My mom decided that we would move back to the small town I was born in. For the first time in my life, I would go to school for a whole year. But remember how I told you I had no friends and no social life? Well, imagine how anxious I was to think about school. Just to imagine all those kids
and now she doesn't have her dad anymore.
Made me shiver. And to make things worse, I learned in the hardest way possible how dangerous it is to be beautiful. Yeah, I was beautiful, apparently.
Oh, she knew.
At least that's what everyone in school thought the moment I stepped in. I've never given much thought about that because I spent my days at home seeing only teachers through a screen. I knew nothing about fashion or trends. The day before school, I thought that everyone would look at me like a weirdo. I was shy and panicked at the idea of talking to anyone. My plan was to stay low, learn my lessons, and rush home. But seemingly,
I swear that was me when I went to school,
and I didn't have to start any conversation.
All I cared was about
talking to me at the same time, asking a million questions. I learned the very first day that when you're pretty, everything you say and do is cool. So when I talked about my past, everyone was amazed. Traveling around the world was cool. Homeschooling was awesome. And having no friends at all was reason enough for everyone to be eager to change that for me. No matter how many times I explained that my past wasn't as fantastic as it seemed, they just heard what they wanted and asked me more frantic questions. And then the world suddenly stopped, as if someone just pushed the pause button of my life. The hottest guy I've ever seen had just arrived at school. And trust me, when you travel around the world as much as I did, you see a lot of different people. This guy was just plain perfect. I couldn't believe my eyes, and I couldn't believe that he lived in a small town like that. His name was Janice, and all I could think of was that, of course, he would be named after a Greek god. He smiled at me, and all I could do was stare at him like an idiot. Was I drooling? I hope not. And then reality punched me in the face. A gorgeous girl appeared from behind and strategically put her hand on Janice's shoulder. Together, they looked like a couple recently descended from Olympus. The girl's name was Martha, a name I would sadly remember forever. Martha was the most popular girl in school, and it suddenly felt obvious that she would be Janice's
seems like a cheerleader or something.
She was used to things working the way she wanted, and she was not happy with me. I saw in the first look she gave me that she saw me as a threat.
She said, ugh, a beautiful girl, I don't like it.
And when Janice introduced me to her, she scanned me from head to toe. And the first words I ever heard coming from her mouth were,
so judgmental.
So sad you had no time to buy new clothes. Silence took over the entire hall. She glanced at other guys around me with a killer look, and they all spread out. What the hell? Who was this girl? A dictator would be an understatement. For some miraculous reason, Janice showed more interest in me than Martha wanted. At first, I tried to ignore him, But when lunchtime came and he asked me if I wanted to sit with them, I couldn't say no. And by the end of the day, he was already asking me to go to the party he was having that night at his place. How could I resist a Greek god? He was so painfully handsome that my will
So I'm
around
guessing
him
he wasn't
disappeared.
with Martha
was obviously not happy with the idea of me in Janice's home. But to tell you the truth, I liked the idea of being seen and appreciated for the first time in my life.
I don't know, man.
To be completely honest,
You never know what the
that
most
much afraid of
popular people
Martha.
want from you.
If Janice wanted to hang out with me, it was his choice. So, to make her swallow those hurtful words she spit out to me at school, I decided to wear one of the most gorgeous and extravagant dresses I
love
owned.
gummy bears.
You see, as a diplomat, my dad used to attend over-the-top events around the world, and many of those times, he would have to take his family with him. So I owned a number of dresses that my mom bought me from
she got that
different
fancy
places all over
drip
the world. Some of them were even made exclusively for me by renowned designers. I was young and never paid much attention to them, but now the efforts of my sacrificed life would pay off. Step aside, Martha. I'm coming in. I tell you, you should have seen her face when she saw me. Everyone stood silent, but her. Oh man,
queen.
her expression was priceless.
The queen
Who's
herself.
the goddess now, Viper? But Martha was not stupid. She was the leader of the school mob, and no stupid person in history was ever a leader of anything. She realized immediately that I was not planning to stay low, and so she went for another strategy, to befriend me, of course. She smiled widely at me and praised my dress. She even said I looked beautiful in it.
She's lying.
I didn't really have a problem with
sure
her
she looks
sudden
beautiful,
change in
but
attitude. I preferred her as an ally instead of an
she's
enemy.
Faking it.
But you know that saying that goes, keep your friends close and your enemies closer?
Exactly.
Well, I didn't. And I found out too late that it was exactly what Martha was planning to do. I was the daughter of a diplomat, but I sucked at it. I should have known better. My father died too soon. He had no time to teach me the tools I would need to play Martha's game. So when she grabbed me by the arm and stood by my side the whole time laughing and gossiping about guys in school, I didn't know what she was up to. For the first time in my life, I was actually having fun.
The animations,
from the distance,
kawaii.
I saw Janice hanging out with friends. I glanced at him from time to time, and I realized he was glancing at me too. Or was I dreaming? After a couple of hours, I told Martha I needed to go to the bathroom. I got inside the house and saw so many sculptures and paintings that I felt I was inside one of the many museums my parents took me to as a kid.
This is Janice's house?
Right, Martha had said. But
man's
apparently
rich.
I got so carried away by the ominous
to her.
art that I got lost inside that huge house. I started opening different doors to find the bathroom when suddenly my jaw dropped. I'd just opened the door to the library. Yeah, I know, what a geek, right? To be amazed by a library.
Oh, she's
but
amazed by it?
when you spend your life among diplomats, this is what you learn to cherish. The shelves were packed from floor to ceiling with rare books. Some of them were even
some of these rich homes,
classics.
though, they have secret
I know,
rooms.
You don't give a damn about that, but
I know you guys have seen my secret
that will make
room
your
videos.
jaw drop too.
Oh, secret
Just
room.
a couple of books on any of those shelves would probably be more expensive than the entire house. Yeah, that's right.
Dang,
they look much cooler now, don't they? There were many collectors of rare books in the world, but this many I had only seen in palaces and museums. Who was this family? I was afraid of touching the relics, so I just stared at them in awe. And then Janice got inside and walked slowly towards me. For the first time in my entire night, we were close enough so I could smell
He's like, what are you doing in my library?
Dang, it made me dizzy. I was looking for you, he said.
Oh,
my
never
knees
mind.
were shaking.
Different
I was
reaction.
about to faint. I knew it. Get it together, Jennifer. What an amazing collection, I said, changing the subject. What a chicken. Janice got even closer to me. He pulled some hair out of my face and behind my ear. Dance with me, he said. And he didn't give me the chance to refuse, like I would have anyway. He put his arm around my waist and we started dancing. The music sounded far away, coming from the garden.
I thought you already had a girlfriend. I guess
rhythm.
not. I guess Martha's not her girlfriend.
Flying.
Not his girlfriend.
Then he looked at me and smiled. We were inches apart.
Okay.
He was about to kiss me when I heard Martha's voice.
And...
Jen! She shouted. Yeah, I was Jen now. Janice pushed me away gently but nervously. He blinked a couple of times, then rushed to the door. Before he opened it, he glanced at me once more, seriously. Hello, beautiful, I heard him say from the other side of the door. Was I imagining things? Or was his voice trembling?
Oh, he was scared.
Have you seen Jen? I heard. It was Martha's voice. No, I haven't.
He was about to get caught, guys. He was about to get caught for cheating.
I went back out and straight towards Martha's side. Something really weird was happening, and I didn't want to look suspicious. From the corner of my eye, I saw Janice back with his friends. He winked at me, and I smiled back.
Martha's probably angry right now.
But was I doing the right thing? I mean, Martha's arm was around mine, and I was flirting with her boyfriend. And what about him? Why was he doing
they're together.
that? And why did he lie to Martha to cover me up? Too many questions I had no answer for. When I arrived at school
he was just trying to cover for himself.
Martha and Janice were already there, hanging out with the rest of the elite. Martha called my name, and they opened a spot for me. The guys were talking about an upcoming football game. Martha had her arm on Janice's shoulder, as always. Janice was an active participant in the conversation, but he glanced at me from time to time. I felt my cheeks getting red. I hoped Martha didn't notice. The bell rang, thank God, and we all started to walk to class. Janice was walking next to me,
one long story.
And I felt his hand
I wonder what's gonna
press in
happen.
mine. I looked at him, but he looked forward. I looked at Martha, and she was distracted talking with another girl.
Oh my gosh.
So I touched Janice's hand too. We continued like that until we reached the classroom.
He has a girlfriend.
And then he went to sit with his friends.
My gosh.
My seat was in the first row next to Martha, so I didn't dare turn around and look at him. The class went on forever. I was glad to realize that I already knew that biology lesson from my homeschooling days because I could not pay attention. Janice was all over my mind. Weeks passed, and since Janice was Martha's boyfriend and Martha was determined to hover over me all day long, we spent a lot of time together.
She just wants to keep her eye on her.
The entire group. We shared classes, break times, lunch, after-school activities. On one hand, it was great to finally experience what a social life meant. On the other, I was going crazy. I couldn't understand Janice. He was obviously interested in me. Why didn't he dump Martha? She wasn't as interested in him as
she probably
me.
has some sort of powers,
She was obviously dating him
guessing.
because he was the most gorgeous guy in school.
Those guys ran away when she glared at them
up,
last time.
And as I was entering school, I decided to face him and ask him what the hell was going on. To my surprise and benefit, Martha got sick and didn't go to school that day. That would make it easier for me to find a moment alone with Janice.
Let's see what happens.
After lunch, I told him I had to talk to him and asked him to meet me at the backstage of the school theater. I was already sweating when I saw him walking slowly towards me through the aisle between the chairs.
I'm scared.
He never
What's about
took
to
his eyes
happen?
from me, and as he climbed the stairs, without saying a word,
he
took
about to
my face in his hands and kissed me. Finally, I've been waiting for this moment forever.
What's this man's deal,
I couldn't
man?
believe it was happening.
He has a girlfriend.
I didn't tell you this, but I'd never kissed a guy before. Imagine having that first experience with a Greek god. I don't have words to express what it meant, what I felt. Even though everything in my life
I think you might be giving him a little too much credit here.
I would live it again over and over. Well, I wouldn't want to ruin this moment for you either, but that's what happened. Martha was not really ill. She was faking it so she could finally catch us red-handed.
She was sneaking
Martha,
around.
as the dictator she was, had spies all over the school.
I knew it.
So I'm
she was up to
guessing
no
that when I got
good.
inside the theater and Janice entered just minutes after, someone must have texted her. She rushed to school and got inside the theater with a few of Janice's friends.
Oh no.
They all stared at us in silence.
They're about to bully her,
You're going to pay for this, Martha said with a calmness that made me shiver.
The typical
as if
high
she'd
school
been waiting
story,
for this
man.
to happen and had everything planned.
So much drama.
And then I heard the most hurtful words of my life. Well done, Janice, she said, smiling now. I looked at him, puzzled. My heart instantly crushed. He looked at her.
What? He was on her side the entire time?
And then at me,
I'm
cold
sorry.
as ice. Not the way he'd been looking at me these past weeks. Janice? I asked. But he swallowed in silence and looked at the floor. Let's go.
He feels
Martha
guilty,
said,
man.
And they all followed, Janice included. I was left alone in the theater, and I felt as sad and confused as the day my father died. I felt the tears
Why you gotta
coming
do
down
that
my
to
cheeks,
someone, like,
and I
to a
couldn't
good
find
girl
the
like
will
that?
to move. I wanted to disappear from the world and never come back. The following days were really strange. There was a general calmness
She should have already known he was up to no
very
good.
much like the silence before a storm.
He had
Martha
a girlfriend.
ignored me, and so did everyone else. And to make things worse, I was becoming the best student in the class. I say worse because that was also a way to bother Martha.
Good.
I didn't intend to, but before
Success
I came,
is
she
the
was
best
the best
revenge.
student. And now,
Not
apparently,
anymore.
I had not only tried to steal her boyfriend, but I was competing with her for the best average medal. As the teachers congratulated me after every exam, I could feel her envious stare on my neck.
The
final exams were closer, so I focused on them. I was used to studying alone and having no friends, so this was not new for me.
That sounds
I
so
asked
sad.
my mom if I could go back to homeschooling, but she said no. As the finals were approaching, I became more and more scared of Martha. She was relentless when she had something in her mind.
She's mad,
and apparently, I was her new project. She said I was going to pay for what I did, but she hadn't done anything yet. I'd underestimated her all along, and now I didn't know how expensive my debt would be. The week of the final exams arrived, and I was glad I would have something on my mind other than Martha. But as I walked to school, I heard a loud noise behind me, and when I turned around, I jumped to the side just in time to avoid a black van from crushing me. The van stopped harshly. The side door opened. Two guys dressed in black with balaclavas covering their faces grabbed me and pushed me inside. Because my dad was a diplomat, kidnapping had always been a possibility in my life. They made me take courses to keep calm and taught me strategies to escape. I even had bodyguards. But when my dad passed away and we moved back to the quiet town, the menaces were over. Or so I thought.
Not anymore.
I stayed quiet and silent inside the van, thinking about all those past years where I was frightened to leave the house because of a kidnapping possibility. And now it really when I finally got the chance to put it behind me, it was happening. I couldn't think of any enemy my dad could have that would make me go through this after all these years. They couldn't hurt him anymore.
Martha.
As they taught me in the courses, I tried to study my kidnappers. They were built, and as the van moved, they looked more and more nervous. Amateurs.
See, they're probably just high school kids,
if I tried to escape. We arrived at the warehouse and they grabbed me.
They're probably
violently.
working with Martha for
Why hadn't
sure.
they covered my face? I could see everything. I wouldn't have to do so much math
Such
to understand
bad
where
kidnappers,
I was.
guys.
They took me inside and tied me to a chair in the middle of a warehouse.
Such
Take your phone,
amateurs.
one of the men said. Call her mother and ask for $1 million. As I heard the words, I frowned. We don't have $1 million.
Oh no, it's over.
I said. The man got closer
She's
to
gonna
me
die.
and yelled, "Shut up." I closed
Look at
my
how the
eyes,
lips are coming out of the
expecting him to
mask.
hit me, but he just stood there staring at me. Your mother will find a way to pay us, he said. I had 1,000 questions. Even though the people at the embassy told me that asking kidnappers questions only made things worse, I wanted to know why they were doing this to me. But I stood silent. They kept me there for an entire week, the longest of my life.
What? An entire week? No food?
There were at least 4 or 5 different men that came and went around.
Hold on.
Their heads were always covered and they didn't speak much. They never hurt me either.
What about food?
It looked like they were
How'd she go into the
something,
bathroom?
just taking turns to guard me. I was mainly worried about my mom. They'd been calling her and threatening her every day.
That's messed up.
If you don't want us to hurt your daughter, you better move out of town, they said. I was eager to please their demands. This town was full of psychos.
She's like, fine, I'll leave.
I don't know how many more days, I heard police sirens. They sounded like music to my ears. The 2 guys on watch stood up quickly.
They're like, oh God, we gotta leave. We gotta leave, we gotta leave.
The last guy, before running away from the other 2, stared at me from the distance in silence for a moment.
Hold on. So, all right. Let me get this straight. So everyone's wearing all black, right?
Before I could think
and
of
this
anything,
man, Janice,
guy,
still wearing the same clothes. Like, you're not gonna be able to tell.
In silence for a moment. I stared at him too,
so
confused by his attitude. He looked like he was hesitating. I'm sorry, he said. And I realized just then why he'd been the only one of them that never said a word near me. It was Janice. And I realized another thing. Martha was behind all of this.
Of course.
Why would she do
I
this?
knew it, guys.
After a second, the obvious answer came to my mind. The finals. Martha was keeping me away from the exams. How powerful was she that she was able to do all this?
Yeah, kidnapping? Are you
Janice
serious?
With my eyes as I saw him disappear. Frustration taking entirely over me.
What in
After
the
a moment,
world,
I heard
dude?
my mom's voice calling me.
Jen?
Over here! I shouted. She rushed towards me, untied me, and hugged me, crying.
My gosh.
Are you all right? Are you hurt? she asked, but I couldn't speak. Janice's stare on me was all I could think of.
I'd be so shook if I got kidnapped. Let's just hope I never get kidnapped. Let's not put that in the air.
And a wave of anger washed over me. I knew she was guilty, and all the fear I'd felt since she said I was going to pay for my actions turned into thirst for revenge.
Ooh,
if she wanted me to leave town and this was the way to accomplish that, she had no idea who she was dealing with.
A diplomat.
Kidnapping was a bottom dweller move, but I was raised in fear of it, and now that it finally happened, it didn't make me weaker, but stronger.
She's about to strike.
Thank you, Martha. You turned
She's
me
about to
into
turn
an
into
Iron Woman, and now it's
Iron
payback
Woman.
time.
Oh,
I
what
wanted
is she
to go
up
to
to?
school the very next day, but my mom sharply opposed. I needed rest, she said, but I was so eager to face Martha that I felt
I wonder what she's up to,
unstoppable.
what
I
her
couldn't sleep
revenge
much
is going
that
to
night.
be.
As I stared at the ceiling in the darkness, I heard noises in my window. I got up and saw Janice on the other side.
Oh.
I wanted to hate him. I wanted to shout at him and punch him in the face.
He helped
But as I saw his
kidnap her.
expression filled with guilt, I simply couldn't. I let him in and
that's
went
just
back
an
to sit
act.
on my bed with my arms crossed.
It's probably just an
I'm
act.
sorry,
Let's be honest.
he said again. Why? I asked, annoyed.
Do you really
Why
trust
did you
this
do
guy
it?
anymore?
Martha's father has my entire family threatened. he
What?
confessed.
So
What?
she's just
I asked.
evil.
I was shocked.
Dang.
What happened? I don't know.
It's the
he said.
war.
Something
It's about to
about
start
a
a
business
war.
going wrong. Her father set up mine. Now I know where Martha gets the jeans from, I said, surprised. She forces me to be her boyfriend. She's been doing it for years, Janice said. How can you stand it? I asked. We will lose everything if Martha's dad talks.
Dang,
But
they've been on
I
blackmail.
said, you have more money in your library than the president. What?
Yeah,
Janice
he is
asked.
rich
The
too.
books.
Oh, that's
I shouted.
Martha's house.
What books? He asked, confused. Ugh, I wanted to punch him in the face again. Why was everyone in this town ignorant? The rare books in your library are worth a fortune. How come your dad doesn't know this? I asked him. Janice took out his cell phone and called his dad.
Oh,
Then he explained
so
that
it
his
was his
father
books.
tried to sell the books many times,
Oh.
but had no contacts. Oh, don't worry about that.
She's like, I
said,
got you.
My mom can
got
definitely think of a place or two. But then Janice stayed silent. And when I asked him what happened, he said that if Martha's father found out, he would take the money away from them, that they already had to pay him monthly just to keep the secret. What a horrible man. What a horrible family. Well, I didn't know much about friends or social life, but I did know quite a lot about politics and law. So I had a few ideas in my mind.
Smart
Do you
girl,
trust
man.
me, Janice? I asked, looking deep into his eyes. He took my face in his hands and kissed
Man, what
me
is
like
this?
he
A
did in the
Korean
theater.
drama, man?
I
What
not
did I
only
just
trust
watch?
you, I love you.
This was
He
epic.
said, and kissed me again. Well, that was enough for me to turn the world upside down.
I'm not even gonna
for
lie.
him.
I liked
But
this
that was
one. It
not
was a
the
long
main
one,
reason
but
for my plan.
it was pretty
Martha
entertaining.
had inherited the genes for dictatorship. I had inherited the ones for justice. I told Janice that my plan was to sell all the books
I like Jen.
and put the
Jen
money
is an
under
awesome
the name of a
person.
fake company and then use that money to bring down Martha's dad. My mother had many contacts at the embassy and around the world.
Connections
This
are
was going to
key,
be
guys.
a piece of
Connections are
cake.
key.
He said that the plan was perfect, except for one detail. He wanted the money to be in my name. Wait a minute.
What a nice guy.
You were an angel in my life, and I treated you like hell, he said. This is the least I could do to prove to you my trust and love. And he kissed me
So
again.
cute, guys.
Ha!
So
Who's
cute.
gonna pay now, Viper? You want me to leave town? Well, you're gonna wish I were dead. Do you want to
dude.
hear the rest of the story?
I swear, girls are
Subscribe
so
to this
evil,
channel
man.
to watch how we brought Martha and her father down in the most diplomatic way ever.
Wait, there's a part 2? This was a pretty long one, but I'm looking forward to the second part now, guys. Whenever that drops, I might react to it. Let me know in the comments, should I react to part 2 when it comes out? And did you guys enjoy this? Like I said, if you guys want to see me react to more true story animations in the future, leave a like, leave a comment, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.